Speedway Report is a production of ZTV. We'll talk about the fractured state of pavement modified racing tonight. Bristol dirt racing continues. It's not just for Cup. And a short tracker gets a big win on a NASCAR national stage. Welcome to Speedway Report for Monday, April the 12th, 2021. From the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina, I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? This is our weekly reminder. Check us out. Just search us on YouTube, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds. I'm right there. Sometimes I am a little better dressed. Sometimes I'm a little casual, like today with my DC Heroes and Comics Villains t-shirt. Tonight. Yeah, a little Justice League, a little Legion of Doom. Perfect segue to the Speedway Report Victory Lane Lap. Let's talk about Martinsville, Virginia. To me, one of the best tracks, if not the best track on the Cup Tour for actual racing. Had a wet weekend, some night racing scheduled, but we finally completed everything last night about 24 hours late. NASCAR Cup race last night took the checkered flag. Martin Truex Jr. was your winner. Earlier in the afternoon, the rain-delayed Xfinity Series race from Friday night was won by Josh Berry. And Thursday night, the weekend kicked off with my favorites, the Pavement Modifieds, the opening season race for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Eric Goodale was your took the checkered flag on Thursday evening. I told you the IndyCar Series ran an open test last Thursday and Friday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joseph Newgarden was the quickest overall, set the quickest overall lap. Went quick time on Friday. The IndyCar season opens up their year this coming weekend down the road from us here in Charlotte, down at Birmingham, Alabama, on the road course. Let's get over to the dirt on the high banks of Bristol, Tennessee. Yeah, that dirt surface is still there, and we're still racing on it. The World of Outlaw late models had a doubleheader. Friday night's preliminary feature was won by Josh Richards. Big race on Saturday night taken by Devin Moran. World of Outlaw sprints were in the Midwest in Indiana Friday night at Kokomo. James McFadden was your A-main winner, and Carson McGado won in Hobstadt on Saturday night. The USAC Midgets were in Tulsa, Oklahoma over the weekend. Saturday night, Buddy Kofoid was your A-main winner, and last night, Tanner Thorson took the checkered flag. Grandview, Pennsylvania had their first point race of the season. Small block modified first championship race won by Brett Cressley. And Thompson, Connecticut hosted the icebreaker for the new Outlaw Modified Series. Ronnie Silk won the 125 lapper and the $10,000 first place prize. Let's talk about modified racing. I come from modifieds, grew up on them in the Northeast, and let's talk about that icebreaker. Not the season opener for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tours. It has been that way forever. Well, maybe not the season opener, but the traditional April dates just about for a long, long time. Well, the traditional April dates were there, but not the NASCAR sanction. As long as I've known an icebreaker, it's been pretty much a NASCAR modified race. The tour began in the early 80s. Some revisionist historical folks in NASCAR say 85. I say plenty earlier than that. However, I digress. It was sanctioned, well, pretty much by themselves a little bit. This new Outlaw Modified Series, which brings back some serious dollars to the purse for the modifieds that are racing at Thompson this year. However, none of those open tour type mod events will be part of the NASCAR Modified Tour. Why? Well, always just follow the money. There was some big purses there put into the icebreaker. Silk took $10,000. That race has never paid that much. However, to play both sides of the coin on this stuff, when the Whelen Modified Tour comes to town, the Speedway has to write a pretty heavy check to NASCAR in order to have that sanctioned. That takes money directly away from the purse money. Now, what happens there? If you don't have to write that check, you can put that money back into the purse and boost it up. Cool. However, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour pays a very healthy penny for the championship series, the point fund money at the end of the year. is plenty healthy, even though they don't promote it as such, which we spoke to Doug Kobe several years about, wondering why. Why doesn't NASCAR make a big deal out of all the money they pay out for the championship points? They do pay a lot. It's very healthy, lots of cash on hand, but the race-to-race stuff, you really got to invest that as a car owner because you're going to spend a whole lot more money than you take in. When I was a kid, here we go back to the old fogey, just back in my day, back when I was your age, Grandpa Patrick here, telling you about the different forms of modified racing. There was only one form of modified racing when I grew up, and it was modified. You just called it a modified. That's all it was. Wherever you ran it, that is where you could run it. They could all run together. You could run separately. I grew up at the Danbury Race Arena. You could race that at Plainville. You could race it at Waterford, Stafford, Thompson, Riverside Park, Seekonk, Massachusetts, Monadnock, Lee, on and on through New England, through New York State, through the Northeast. It was a pavement modified. Done. That was all we said. That was all we needed to do. They were all the same. When we had the Thompson 300, 100 cars would show up, 50 would take the green flag. The Thompson 300 is coming back later this year at the Thompson Speedway, courtesy of this Outlaw Modified Series. But we've got so many splintered, fractured, modified divisions that it's tough to get that 100-car field driving for the grid of 30 or 40 or 50 spots, whatever you got. This Outlaw Modified Series, different from the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. We've got the Smart Tour down here, the Southern Modified Auto Racing Series. That's down here. Very few of the Southern guys went to Martinsville. It was right in their backyard, yet the money it takes to run that one race really prohibited the local guys from here in the Carolinas and Virginia from actually competing at such an event because of what they have to do to be part of the NASCAR Modified Tour. Could they go to Thompson for an outlaw race? I don't know. The rules are all different here. We've got SKs, SK Lights, Valenti Modified Series, Race of Champions, the Whelen Modified Tour, the Southern Modifieds. There's so many different pavement modified tours or series. Even the Southern Modified auto racing teams, the Smart Tour down here, did you know their rules actually differ from the modifieds there at Bowman Gray Stadium on Saturday night? Yes! There's rule changes. You can't just literally load up your car from the stadium and take it to a smart race. You have to make changes to it. They're not the same rules, which is shocking to me. But this is all over. Now we've got, the Tour, SKs, SK Lights. You go in the Northeast, and there's just so many different modified divisions. Thompson, even back in the day, had its own modified. Then it was a Thompson Light. I don't know. I just can't keep track of them anymore. The rule changes really prohibit the average racer from just loading up his car and going to race. We don't have this problem so much on dirt, where the late models and sprint cars really interact and intertwine, really envelop each other. And you can support one race, support one tour, hop to the next one. You can run an outlaw-style schedule with a sprint car or with a late model. The rules, probably a little bit, but there's not much prohibited from having one to the other. Some of these pavement modified races, you really need a whole nother car. It's impossible for the working guy that races on the weekend to have that much inventory in stock and spend that much money. You kind of got to settle in to what you're going to do, and it really is really tough to travel around and hop from tour to tour. Long days gone from the days of watch my Danbury Race Arena heroes take on the big wigs at Trenton or Pocono or Thompson for those large events there, or even run really competitively at some of the smaller tracks at Plainville and Waterford. But it's just a splintered state. I wish, if I could wave a magic wand, have a magical modified back again. The pavement modifieds, this is what you run. You could unload your car and run the New Smyrna World Series in February, come up to the Carolinas, run some of the spring races, run weekly at Bowman Gray, go up to New England and New York and run over there, and just it was the car, it was the same. The rules, the wheels, the engines, fuel cell offsets, silly measurements, they were all the same, and we could have 100 cars show up for an event. This is why you have those 100-car fields at the World 100. This is why you have them at the Knoxville Nationals, at the Chili Bowl, where there's just all that commonality. Guys can come in, show up, And you need different qualifying days for different groups because you have so many cars. Because you designed something in common with everybody. Pavement modified racing just doesn't seem to be there. And I certainly miss those days of long ago. Tip of the hat to Thompson for actually putting the money into the purse for the icebreaker. Tip of the hat to Thompson for bringing back the 300 in October of this year. And I'm going to give them a good call, and this may have something to do with not being tied into NASCAR, is to move all of the races to Saturday. This was going to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. Icebreaker usually took place on Sunday afternoon. Weather forecast in Connecticut was horrible for Sunday, so they moved that program to Saturday night. Now, if people made plans to travel and wanted to go on Sunday, you weren't going to get the race in anyway, but maybe you could or could not go Saturday, but the race got in. I think that is the important thing. Instead of sticking to the schedule and then being rained out on Sunday, and now we got to find a rain date and try to find everybody to come back, Thompson made a great call. Now, would NASCAR have allowed such a beast to happen? I don't think they would have. I think the entry blank and you're locked in and you're signed up for that type of thing. If there was a television broadcast on NBC Gold again, you would have had a contractual obligation for television to stick with that. I like that independent thinking. That at least the race got in. I'm not a big forecaster of that. I'm not a big proponent of that, but when it looks obvious that you're going to get drenched out and washed out on Sunday, yeah, try to make an attempt and get the word out. That's tough to do. We've got social media. I didn't realize this happened until after the weekend. I'm down here near Charlotte, not up in New England area, so I didn't really know. I was following it from a distance, but I was also catching up as well. I found about it after the fact. If you made the trip on Sunday or were planning on it, you weren't going to see it anyway. So I like that independent style thinking where you can move it and are not tied in. Possibly the lack of a NASCAR sanction freed up Thompson Speedway to be allowed to do that. Another plus for having the Outlaw Series there as well. Speaking of that good old TV money, which could have been there for the NBC Gold if the tour was there at Thompson, TV money certainly got in the way of sensible racing at Martinsville. Let me set the stage for you. Friday night's Xfinity Series race takes the green. We get partway through it. Rain comes, washes out the rest of it. Saturday night's Cup Series race takes the green. We run a few laps. Rain comes in, washes the rest of it out. Now think of this. We've got the Xfinity Series cars stopped. We've got the Cup Series cars stopped. Cup Series is in the middle of their race. Their pit areas are set up. Why don't we just red flag this, pick it back up on Sunday evening with the Cup cars at noon? Their pit area is all set up. And then the Xfinity guys, we can do the pit swap over and they can come in, set up their pits and run Sunday night. No. TV money dictated this, where the Cup Series has a lot of late Eastern time starts this year, that 3 to 4 o'clock range, so that the checkered flag waves leading into prime time Sunday programming on Fox. Well, that's why that call was made. So Sunday, with the Cup Series pits all set up, the Cup team's got to break that down. Xfinity team's got to come in, set their pits up, run their race, then break their pits down, and the Cup guys got to reset their pits up twice in a day. The logic of just doing it before that big TV money there would be simply, Cup guys are set up, finish their race, and we'll bring the Xfinity guys in after. Simple. Piece of cake. Nope. We're going to run this through TV money, which doesn't trickle down to my level here at Speedway Report, but certainly makes people millionaires on the upper levels of NASCAR. Sometimes the logic isn't there. We trade that in for the paycheck and the riches and the cash. We certainly did that Sunday at Martinsville. Logic be gone. Money ruled the day. Now, let's bring on some logic as opposed to money. Well, hopefully some money too, because the Bristol dirt is still in place. We raced a good section of short trackers and grassroots racers Then we brought in the Cup teams. They raced the NASCAR Cup Series and the trucks. And now, this past weekend, the World of Outlaw late models were on the Bristol Dirt. Bristol, Tennessee will host the World of Outlaw sprint cars coming up in the coming days here. But I want to give props to Thompson Speedway. I want to give props to Bristol, Tennessee, that they didn't just put the dirt down for a Cup Series gimmick. They put the dirt down, and then they're doing a lot of dirt racing on this, giving these short track stars their own big weekend, some good purses, a great stage, big stage to display their talents on, and it's really, really cool to see. This strikes me as my interest to the prelude to the dream. Remember when we had that at Eldora? I thought the prelude to the dream was cool, but that generated so much buzz. I was much more interested in the dream of dirt track guys. This is their specialty. These are the cars. Let's see the real guys do the real thing. Dirt on Bristol, have a similar interest to that. Let's see the dirt guys do their thing for real. The dirt sprint cars coming in. The dirt late models were there. We had lots of dirt racers. NASCAR trucks and Cup, somewhat of a gimmick. However, I'm excited. Great to see the dirt racers actually getting their heyday. So we're giving props to Thompson Speedway. We're giving props to Bristol, Tennessee. See, I don't just complain on this show. I actually give credit and compliments where they are due. And I'm going to compliment Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now. He had Josh Berry in his late model stock car program for years. Granted, best of everything late model stock equipment. Josh Berry has been winning there for a while. Dale put out feelers for him in the Xfinity Series a few years ago. Even reached into his own pocket to give Berry a start in the Xfinity Series. He's made sporadic starts, and yesterday at Martinsville Speedway, Berry won the Xfinity Series race. Great to see a short tracker get a shot because he deserves a shot and win the national stage. To answer a question from so many folks, am I going to Indianapolis for the 500? I don't know. That's the best answer I can tell you. I even put a tweet out today and talked to another media friend of mine. We're in the dark about media credentials for the Indianapolis 500. It is April 12th as we do this show live, as this recorded live. That is usually nearing pre-COVID for the deadline for the Indianapolis 500 credentials. And most of us really haven't heard much. There's been some calls and some emails. I don't know. Am I going to the Indy 500? I'd like to, but I don't know. It's tough to tell. Now, granted, the Speedway may not know yet, but I'd love if the Speedway just told us, hey, we don't know yet. So there will at least some kind of communication or response, because nobody really knows anything. Am I going to Indy? I'd like to. I don't know if I will or not. It remains to be seen. And we want to pay our respects to Lou Iwanitzko tonight, Mike's dad. He passed away recently. Saw the news on social media, so Mike, we're thinking of you. Great Long Island racing family, so much history in that family. Rest in peace, Lou. He will certainly be missed among the modified racing community. Looking for our Speedway Report Racer of the Week as our hat tip to Dave Despain and Motor Week Illustrated. I thought about Derek Griffith with his start for the year going 3 for 3, but I thought it's honorable mention time for him. Going to go with Josh Berry. Late model guy picking up that big win in the Xfinity Series yesterday at Martinsville, Virginia. Thanks, Josh. Driving a heck of a race and proving that short trackers, the Saturday nights, are still a great place to pluck guys out of those seats and get them into the national spotlight. Everybody in between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of racing with SpeedwayReport.com. Our shows are archived there, so as the weather gets warmer and road trips get plentiful, please download a podcast. Listen to Speedway Report. On social media, let's start with Facebook. On Racers Reunion or at Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds. Connect to me on Twitter at Speedway Report or at Speedway Pat. In the forum at racersreunion.com. And as I said at the top of the show, check out our YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone that joined the Facebook live feed tonight. Love you guys. I'll get back to some comments and some questions soon. I want to thank all the military past and present for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, you take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You've been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at SpeedwayPat. Now, if you're on Facebook Live right now, we're at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time on April the 12th. Hop on over to Drag List Live on Facebook because they're coming up at the top of the hour. Bill Pratt and John Balcom will take you through the next hour. Now, I'll be back live here on Facebook April the 19th with the IndyCar opener from Birmingham, Alabama. We've got Formula One in Italy, NHRA in Las Vegas, and a bunch of short track racing. Thank you for watching. You take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'll see you all next week.